Ant-Man, Trash Can, Jackie Chan, Lakers in 5. Guys in the 80s were snorting coke in locker rooms before the game. Devin Booker should be the one traded? Like, are y'all okay? This guy said, "You're so beautiful. Would you ever date a black guy?" Who's gonna tell him?
Once you go black, you're gonna need a wheelchair.
Is this really a question? I'm gonna start calling y'all out by name. Welcome to the Ashley Nevel Show. I am your host, Ashley Nevel. This is where hot takes meet deep conversations. Whether you're here for the NBA chaos, the brand breakdowns, or just to see who I'm calling out this week, I appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear the truth. All right, let's get right into it. Court is officially in session, and some of these teams and players need to lawyer up. The playoffs are around the corner, and I've got a few verdicts to hand out. If you didn't watch that Warriors versus Clippers game, you missed the most Game 7-ass matchup of the year. Forget that it was the regular season finale. This had everything. Overtime, tension, star power, and actual stakes that meant something for the West. James Harden turned the clock back, Kawhi Leonard looked locked in, and Steph gave you 36. Jimmy Butler added 30. They were throwing haymakers, but it was the Clippers who walked away with the 124-119 overtime win. And that win changed everything. Now, the Clippers are headed straight to the playoffs and get a first-round matchup with the Denver Nuggets. So, congrats. Your reward for surviving the Warriors is Nikola Jokic. The Clippers might not have an answer for him, but let's be real, nobody does. But that's not where they need to win this series. Their revamped half-court defense ranks top 10 in the league, and they got the personnel to smother Denver's supporting cast. If Kawhi Leonard and James Harden stay healthy and locked in, the Clippers can live with Jokic getting his, as long as no one else eats. And with the Nuggets' recent coaching shakeup and lingering injuries, LA's defensive pressure and playoff experience could be enough to steal this series. Clippers in 7. I know that's a lot coming from me because I'm a big Denver Nuggets fan. Love Nikola Jokic, but I just don't think they got what it takes. The Clippers are looking different right about now. And the Warriors? All right, here's the deal. The Warriors are not losing to Memphis. Steph just torched them with 52 points 2 weeks ago. I don't care that Ja Morant is back and thriving. I don't care that the Grizzlies just ran up the score on the Mavs bench squad. This is Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler we're talking about. Two killers who live for these moments. Jimmy has brought a different edge to this team. He's not here for moral victories. He's here to ruin your playoff dreams. Add in Draymond anchoring the defense and the fact that Golden State just went toe-to-toe with the Clippers in a game that felt like a bloodbath. So yeah, the Grizzlies are getting sent home. So let's get into the first round. Warriors versus Rockets. Let's be honest. The Rockets are cute. They're young, they're athletic, and they've got energy. And they even shut down Steph Curry last week. Cool. Try doing that 4 times in a 7-game series with Jimmy Butler breathing down your neck. Houston will steal a couple games. Maybe even make it interesting if they hit their threes and play wild. But Jimmy's been to the finals. Steph's a 4-time champ. They don't flinch. The moment's too big for Houston right now, and Golden State is just built different when it counts. Warriors in 6. Stamp it. Next up, we got Lakers, Timberwolves. Is this really a question? Ant-Man, Trash Can, Jackie Chan, Lakers in 5. You're telling me a team with LeBron James and Luka Doncic is losing to the Wolves? Nah. That's 2 of the coldest closers in the game. One's a 22-year vet who's still dunking on your favorite player, and the other's a step-back sniper who lives for playoff chaos. Good luck guarding that. Yeah, Ant-Man's a dog. He'll have a couple monster games, cool. But Rudy's getting dragged out to the perimeter like a folding chair, and Julius Randle, well, we've seen that playoff movie before. Austin Reeves is going to cook secondary defenders, and the Lakers' pace, poise, and playoff IQ will overwhelm this young Wolves squad. Too much Luka, too much LeBron, not enough Minnesota. And lastly, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to breeze past whoever gets the 8th seed. Maybe a sweep. And then we have the East. I got the Knicks in 6, and that's with all due respect to Cade Cunningham. Cade's finally arrived. First-time All-Star, face of the franchise, and he's giving Detroit that bad boys energy again. The Pistons are young, gritty, and physical. They'll punch you in the mouth and talk about your mama while doing it. But the Knicks, they got Jalen Brunson, leading the charge, and he's built for this. Calm, clutch, and surgical. Add in the Villanova crew backing him, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and now they got Cat stretching the floor and punishing mismatches. Detroit's gonna fight. Cade will flash his star power, but New York has too much poise, too much chemistry, too many weapons. Knicks in 6. Next up, we got Pacers versus Bucks. This one's going to 7, but I'm taking the Bucks. Let's start with the obvious. Giannis Antetokounmpo? Who on Indiana is guarding that man? Nobody. That's an automatic 30 and 12 every night. He's too strong, too quick, and too locked in. You could build a wall if you want. He's Euro-stepping through that shit. Bobby Portis, he's back and bringing that playoff toughness. Kevin Porter Jr. was a sneaky pickup, gives them another shot creator and ball handler, which they've needed. And adding Kyle Kuzma to the mix? Say what you want, but he's been solid. Hits big shots, defends wings, and fits right in. Now, if the Bucks get Damian Lillard back, game over. That gives Milwaukee 2 closers and completely shifts the dynamic of the series. The Pacers can run, they can score, and Halliburton's the real deal, not to mention Pascal Siakam. But they don't have the size and strength to handle this version of the Bucks in a Game 7 war. It'll be a fun series, fast-paced, physical, probably some drama, but Giannis and this revamped roster, they're built for this. Bucks in 7. Let's talk play-in. Bulls versus Heat. Winner gets the 8th seed. I know people are scared of the Heat in April, but I'm rolling with Chicago. Yes, I know Tyler Hero turns into playoff Jesus every spring. Dude's averaging 24 a game this season. And now that Jimmy's in Golden State, this is Tyler's team. He's taken the reins, he's been their closer, and he's the reason Miami's even in the mix. But here's the thing. The Bulls own the Heat this year. They've swept them, not once, not twice, 3 times. Beat them in February by 9, beat them in March by 5, and then closed out the season series in April with an 8-point dub. Y'all want to talk matchups? Chicago has them beat. Let's start with Josh Giddey. Since landing in Chicago, he's been a walking triple-double, 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists per night. Against Miami last week, 28, 16, and 11. Yeah, that man was cooking. And Nikola Vukovic quietly putting up 20 and 11. Reliable, steady, eats in the paint when Bam switches out. But it's not just individual stats. It's momentum. This Bulls team closed the season strong. And the Heat, Tyler's doing everything he can, but the supporting cast just isn't holding up. Chicago's putting up 118 points a game. Miami's struggling to crack 110. I don't care about net rating. I care about who's hot, who's healthy, who's hungry. And right now, Chicago's checking all 3. So unless Tyler Hero drops 50 a game, give me the Bulls. Playoff spot secured. And then we got the Magic versus Hawks. All right, real talk. I couldn't care less about this matchup. Magic versus Hawks, playing game. But since I got to pick a winner, let's break it down. First up, the Magic. They've had a nice little season, finished over 500. Paolo Banchero took a leap, and that defense, legit. But let's be honest. Paolo and Franz, they're suiting up, sure, but are they really ready for the playoff lights? That's the question. Their playoff impact is still a mystery. And that whole team's built like a talented AAU squad. Young, fun, and not quite ready for the grown man basketball in April. And also injuries. And then you got the Hawks. Mid-record, mid-season. But the one thing they've got, Trae Young. Back healthy, averaging 25 and 10, and built for these moments. Playing games, elimination pressure, Trae lives for that. He's got that ice in his veins. Silencer in the garden type of playoff pedigree. We've seen it. And then we got Zachary Rizachet, who's been heating it up. 15 points a game, shooting over 40% from 3 post-All-Star break. And the bench, 43.5 points per game. That's the second best in the league. My bold prediction, Trae goes off for 32 and 12, talks spicy in the postseason, and sends the Magic back to Disney World with their playoff hopes in a Ziploc. And lastly, need I even mention the Celtics and the Cavs? That's an easy first-round win for both teams, regardless of who they play. Court is still in session, and the Phoenix Suns media is on trial because what the fuck is this? All these Phoenix media outlets trying to float the idea that Devin Booker should be the one traded? Like, are y'all okay? This man has been the face of the franchise for almost a decade. He stuck through the tank seasons, 20-win disasters, rotating coaches, and a carousel of G League lineups. He made Phoenix his home. He played in that last meaningless home game because he knew the fans still showed up and he wasn't going to let them down. He's donated millions to this community. He's never trashed the organization, even when he had every reason to do so. And as someone who's been in those media rooms, I've seen firsthand, he answers every question, even the dumb ones. So why the hell would you want to push that guy out the door? We know the NBA front offices are listening. Don't start planting this nonsense now. Because if the Suns let Booker go, they'll be cursed. Straight up. Get a new coach, which they're going to. Fix the culture and stop scapegoating the one guy who's done everything right. We got a few more people on trial. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame legend. One of the baddest of the bad boys. A man who used to treat playoff games like UFC undercards. So when he called LeBron James unprofessional for warming up shirtless 3 hours before tip-off in an empty arena, I had to pause. Unprofessional? Isaiah. Y'all used to toss dudes like rag dolls. MJ caught more elbows from your crew than a mosh pit. Guys in the 80s were snorting coke in locker rooms before the games. Listen, we love you. But let's not act like the 80s Pistons were running yoga sessions and drinking green juice before games. LeBron breaking a sweat with his shirt off in pregame is the least scandalous thing in NBA history. That man treats his body like a billion-dollar brand. Meanwhile, your crew was treating warm-ups like a crime scene and recovery like happy hour. Let's be honest. Shirtless LeBron is basically a live ad for discipline, hydration, and low body fat. And I mean, I liked it. And last but not least, the MVP case is on the docket. And it's a damn toss-up. On one side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, leading scorer, best team, silent assassin. On the other, Nikola Jokic, triple-double machine. So how do we rule this? Because this year, it's a real conversation. Not that media-fueled, we need a new face fluff. I'm talking about actual basketball reasons. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, best player on the best team in the NBA, leading scorer, gets it done on both ends. Clutch, efficient, never complains, never cheats the game. The dude is everything you want in a franchise player. And then there's Nikola Jokic, who, oh, by the way, is averaging a triple-double as a center. I'll say it again. Averaging a triple-double as a center. First big man in NBA history to do it. Only the third player ever. But here's the kicker. Jokic is currently top 3 in the league in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. 4 different categories. And no player in NBA history has ever done that. Not LeBron, not MJ, not Oscar, nobody. So let me ask you this. How did Jokic win his first MVP when the Nuggets were a 6 seed? But now that he's got the seeding and the most ridiculous stat line we've ever seen from a big man, we're suddenly unsure? It honestly makes me question the validity of that first MVP. If this version of Jokic doesn't win it, what are we even rewarding? But Shai, he's not just a runner-up. This man is legit. He's built OKC into a powerhouse. He's leading the league in scoring, disrupting on defense, and looks like the future of the NBA. So, yeah, I'm torn, but what do I know? Whoever gets snubbed is going to remember it. And that's going to be hell for the rest of the league. But if I got to take one, we're taking Nikola Jokic. So I'm hearing from sources that a lot of media members are not going to be voting Mark Daigneault to win his second Coach of the Year award. And I know there's a lot of voter fatigue. But if I don't at least see him in top 3 voting among some of you media members, I'm going to start calling y'all out by name because this is starting to be bullshit. I mean, being able to have the luxury to vote on these regular season awards and y'all be going crazy. There is a lot of bias within the media, and we see this year after year. But how are you not going to have Mark Daigneault in your top 3, at least for Coach of the Year? And I know he's not going to win it this year. What I'm hearing from my sources is that media members are going to be voting for either JB Bickerstaff with the Pistons, or they're going to be voting for Kenny Atkinson with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I understand why. What JB's been able to do with the Pistons this season has been incredible. Cleveland is number 1 in the Eastern Conference, so Kenny Atkinson, kudos to you. But Mark Daigneault, not even being in some people's top 3, or even anyone wanting to vote him number 1, when, let's think about this. OKC is number 1 in the entire league. And y'all can say, oh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, whatever. He had to play without Chet Holmgren for a majority of the season. Hartenstein was out for a long time. And it didn't faze them. So you are going to tell me that Mark Daigneault is not deserving of winning Coach of the Year? But then you're going to give Shai Gilgeous the MVP? Best player on the best team? Would also make sense. Best coach on the best team? And like I said, a lot of these media members this year, I let it slide last year, but I'm going to start calling you guys out by name if I see anything ridiculous in the votes. And you better start second guessing who you're voting for at this point. Because I'm done with y'all playing with player and coaches' legacies. Because your votes fucking matter. So I've been seeing a lot of what-if scenarios. Because obviously a lot of these media outlets like ESPN have nothing else to talk about. So they need to just start making shit up out of thin air. So I'm seeing a lot of, is Dame and Giannis going to leave the Bucks if they get booted out of the first round? And all I'm going to say is this. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You can go and want to team up with other superstar players for what? To look like the Nets a couple years ago? Bust. To look like the Suns this year? Bust. Dame and Giannis should not leave the Bucks even if they get booted in the first round. Again, grass is not always greener on the other side. You might think another situation looks better for you, but the Bucks got what it takes. They just need to be healthy. The number one thing that matters in the playoffs is health. That's what it comes down to. The healthiest team wins. And then you could talk chemistry, culture, star power. All those things matter too. But health is number 1. And unfortunately, the Bucks have been dealing with a lot of injuries this season. All right, let's take a quick break from playoff predictions to focus on what really matters. NBA players on Tinder? This segment is called Getting Played, where we break down fictional Tinder profiles for NBA stars and decide who's a swipe right and who's just stat padding your love life. First up, Steph Curry. Swipe right and watch how fast I pull up. The one man you can trust with your bet, with your heart, and your mom's approval. Swipe right, you're winning in life. Verdict, certified lock. If you're getting played, it's by yourself. Next up, Ja Morant. Explosive in the lane, even more dangerous in yours. Ja's got that pull up and make you forget your standards type of energy. He's exciting, unpredictable, and the definition of, I know better, but here I am. Swipe right. It's a ride, no promises, no peace, but so much fun while it lasts. Verdict, getting played, and low-key okay with it. Next up, we got Tyler Hero, who's only interested in a heat check and maybe your best friend. Tyler's always been that guy, smooth, confident, and ready to pull up from anywhere. Say what you want, but when it's time to deliver, he shows up, drops buckets, and leaves you rethinking all of your boundaries. Swipe right, you're catching feelings by halftime. Verdict, getting played, but in the best possible way. Anthony Davis, healthy enough to take you out, questionable by date 3. A walking double-double. If he makes it past warm-ups, 80s love language, load management. Swipe right, he'll cancel on you halfway through dinner. Bet on him, you better bring insurance. Verdict, getting played with a probable tag. So whether it's love, betting, or backing your favorite team, just know in this league, we're all getting played. Let's pivot to the off-court game where branding meets the bag. I break down the personal moves athletes are making to grow their influence, build their brand, and secure the check off the court. In this segment called Game Plan for the Gram. Let's start with a wild truth. In 2025, going pro doesn't always mean getting paid. Staying in college is the new power move. The WNBA rookie salary starts at $75K. Meanwhile, some of these women are making 7 figures just to stay in school and post content. For example, we saw Caitlin Clark make over $3.4 million in NIL deals with companies like Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson, and so many more. Juju Watkins is making over $1.2 million from Nike, Gatorade, AT&T, Dove, Celsius, Ritz, and the list goes on. Flau'jae Johnson is making over $1.5 million with Puma, Taco Bell, JBL, and she signed to Roc Nation as a rapper. And lastly, you got Paige Beckers, who's making over $1.4 million from Nike, Verizon, Google Chrome, Bose, and Gatorade. Let's be honest, you're not leaving that to go make less. Some of these women are building empires before they even hit the W, and they're not done yet. We just saw a wave of top players announce they're staying in college again. And here is who's confirmed returners. Azzi Fudd of UConn coming back after a national title run. Lauren Betts, UCLA, staying to play with her younger sister, who's a top high school recruit. Flau'jae Johnson, LSU, run it back with the bag secured. Olivia Miles leaving Notre Dame, but not for the W. She's transferring to TCU. And then we got Tanaya Latson, Florida State to South Carolina, nation's leading scorer, transferring but staying in college. You think this is just about basketball? Nah, this is about leverage. This is about NIL. This is about making money. NBA players are also securing the bag in new places too. So you no longer have to be an all-star to get a signature shoe. You just need a little sauce and the right brand behind you. Brandon Pozenski of the Golden State Warriors just dropped his signature shoe with Rigorer, the BP1s, and became the second NBA player ever with the brand. He's not a star, and he just became a full-time starter, but he's got charisma, a global team logo, and a loyal fan base. That's what these brands care about now. Here's what we could take away from this. This ain't about stats anymore. It's about storylines. Players are building their brands before their careers even take off. NIL flipped the script. The portal turned into a trade machine, and overseas sneaker deals are redefining what it means to make it. If you're not building something off the court right now, you're already behind. And while some athletes are building their brand through NIL deals, others are doing it just by being unapologetically themselves. Chaos and all. Let's talk about Ja Morant. Is he a menace or a marketing genius? Because whether you love him, hate him, or think he's the NBA's favorite problem child, you can't deny one thing. The man is a trendsetter. His new celebration, tossing a grenade into the crowd and covering his ears before it explodes, it's already spread into high school gyms and even overseas leagues. Guys aren't just doing it. They're filming it, editing it, making it a part of their brand too. Whether the NBA likes it or not, Ja is culture. He's flashy, unpredictable, and a walking highlight. And most importantly, he moves the needle. And in a league that's desperate for new faces for the game, you might not want him as your corporate poster boy. But don't act like he's not the reason half of Gen Z still cares. Ja Morant doesn't follow the league's brand. He is a brand. So athletes are out here running $1 million brands. And some NBA teams still don't even know who they are or what they stand for. Let's shine a light on the ones that do get it right and the ones still stuck in a rebrand every offseason in this segment of Off-Court Playbook. What is culture in the NBA? It's not a hashtag, not a media day soundbite. It's identity. Soul. Something you feel when a team walks in the building before they even lace up. Some teams have it, others just jerseys and vibes. Let's start with the Lakers. The Lakers don't just play basketball. They play with main character energy. Their avatar is the generational superstar. Not just great, magnetic. Born for prime time. Built for legacy. Think Magic Johnson, who turned transition offense into a show. Kobe Bryant, the relentless assassin who matched LA's intensity. Shaq's dominance with a grin and a mic. LeBron James, the face of an era, walking into the only franchise big enough to match his gravity. Tone, flashy, confident, legacy first. The voice, big, bold, often arrogant, but earned. Even when they lose, it still feels like the Lakers. That's culture. That's consistency. Now contrast that with the Celtics. Completely different energy, but just as undeniable. Their avatar is the gritty, loyal, all-business winner. Bill Russell, who set the standard before culture was even a conversation. Larry Bird, the trash-talking, hard-working icon with ice in his veins. Paul Pierce, who stayed through the dark years and got his ring the hard way. And even Jason Tatum, polished, focused, not doing the most, just doing his job. What's the tone? Gritty, traditional, no frills. Voice, humble, serious, obsessed with winning. You don't go to Boston to trend. You go there to earn it. And they've made that clear for decades. Then you've got teams that don't really know who they are. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. They've had great players, Nash, Amari, Book, CP3, KD, Beal, but a franchise is more than a roster. And the Suns, they've never had a true identity that stuck. Every few years, it's a new look, a new coach, a new roster, a new slogan, a new era. Remember 7 seconds or less? The goal was to get a shot off within the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. No overthinking, no grinding half-court sets, just pace, space, and buckets. It revolutionized modern basketball and emphasized three-point shooting, floor spacing, and tempo way before it was trendy. It helped Nash win back-to-back MVPs, took the Suns to multiple Western Conference finals. Then the Suns culture died for a few years. And then in 2020, it felt like the culture was forming again. It was defense first, a mature, disciplined tone. And now it's a super team built like a 2K fantasy draft. No identity, no chemistry. It always feels like they're chasing relevance instead of building something that's real. Same story with the Brooklyn Nets. They bet the house on KD, Kyrie, and Harden. And when it all exploded, they were left with no culture, no story, and no foundation. Then there's the Hornets, who honestly feel like an AAU team with better gear. No tone, no voice, no face. Even with LaMelo, it's vibes over vision. But let's get back to Phoenix real quick and what they could be. If I were building their culture from scratch, here's how it starts. What's their avatar? An underdog, tough, explosive, a little rough around the edges, somebody overlooked, loyal, resilient. Basically, prime Devin Booker before the Suns sold their soul for stardom. What's the tone? Desert tough. Not flashy, just hot, intense, and hard to survive. You don't make it out here unless you're built for it. What's the voice? Blunt, unpolished, real. Not trying to be cool, just being cool. Type of players to build around? Guys who want to grind, develop, stay. No more rentals. No more patchwork all-stars with 1 foot out the door. You center everything around forged in the desert. That's the brand. That's the standard. That's the story. You stop reacting. You start rooting in. Because culture isn't about copying what worked in LA or Boston. It's about knowing who the hell you are and sticking to it. If your team needs a PR firm to convince people you're building something special, you're not building culture. You're running a campaign. And campaigns end. Culture, that lasts decades. Now it's time to shoot your shot. Normally, this is where I roast your takes, but today, you turn the tables. Y'all shot your shot with the questions, and now it's my turn to respond. All right, got some questions from you guys in the DMs, and you guys asked me, Big Jack 3024, can the Wolves beat the Lakers? If Anthony plays like he did in last year's playoffs against the Suns and against the Nuggets, they have a chance. But this is the damn Lakers we're talking about. You really expect a team to beat Luka and LeBron James? Please. The Lakers aren't getting booted in the first round. Next up, we got WD Coleman, 8567. I wish you guys had names as your usernames, but that's okay. You asked me the Lakers' chances to win a championship. I think they're relatively high. I think they're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get to the finals this year. But as I said in my last podcast, I do think the NBA is going to be pushing for a Lakers-Celtics finals for multiple reasons. I mean, you have the nostalgic feel, the star power, and the ratings are going to be through the roof. I mean, this is a rivalry that goes back decades. So if the NBA knows what's best for them, they're going to want a Lakers-Celtics matchup. Next up, can the Magic go 7 games against the Celtics in the first round? I think your name is Ian. Dude, come on. Really? You had an opportunity to ask a good question, and you asked me this. You wasted your one lifeline on this. Nah. I think the Magic are going to get swept. I mean, and it's not to say that they're not a good team. They've just been dealing with a lot of injuries this season. So I just don't think they stand a chance. I don't even know if they're going to make it out the play-in, if we're being honest. So I've had a lot of people ask me about the Lakers. Do you think they can go all the way? I honestly do. I mean, again, LeBron and Luka, how are you going to count them out? JJ Redick's been coaching his fucking ass off this season. So if the Lakers can stay locked in defensively, I think they have a chance. I do think anytime they play against the Warriors, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, Steph Curry is ridiculous in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler now added to the mix is just insane. The Lakers could go all the way, but they're going to have some speed bumps along the way. I mean, playing the Timberwolves in the first round is going to be tough. I think they're going to make it against the Warriors the next round, and that's going to be even tougher because, like, who are you going to go band for band with Steph Curry? You just, to me, like, you can't stop him, number one, and number two, you can't match the three-pointers he's going to make. So and then again, the Lakers are going to have to face the Clippers, who right now, to me, look like the best team in the NBA right now. You got prime Kawhi Leonard back. You got James Harden. Everyone's healthy. You got Ty Lue. And the Clippers have built their whole roster around defense. So when you have a defensive-minded team that can slow you down, but then they can also hit at the other end, that's going to be tough. I mean, Kawhi is playing out of his damn mind. And I will say the Clippers handled him very well this season. They rested him for a long period of time. Previous years, they did not do so, and then he ended up getting hurt in the first round of the playoffs and wasn't able to play the rest of the way. So now if you have him healthy, you got prime Kawhi Leonard. We're talking Spurs. We're talking Raptors Kawhi Leonard. Championship Kawhi Leonard. And then you got James Harden playing like he's back trying to fight for MVP this season. So what we saw in Sunday night's game, the Clippers are back. They're for real. They're scary. So I think the Lakers can lose to the Clippers in the conference finals. So they're asking, another question I have from K Solo is Bulls this year. I already predicted the Bulls to come out of the first, or the play-in. The first round, I think the Bulls are going to come out, but I think they're going to make it difficult. I got another question. Outsider Joe. You outside, Joe? Interesting name. I wonder what you do outside. Anyways, you asked me, who's your team to win it all? I'm going to take the Celtics to go back-to-back. I don't think there's any team beating the Celtics. Who wins the MVP? You guys really want me to just pick one? Who do I want to win it and who I think's going to win it are two different things. I want Jokic to win it just because I think his numbers are fucking insane. And they would not be in the 3 seed without him. However, I will say the same situation is true for OKC and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think the media is going to vote for Shai. There's definitely voter fatigue. They're not going to give it to Jokic this year, even though he's deserving. They've been voting for him. This would be his 4th MVP if he wins it. I don't think they're going to vote for him again. What Shai is doing, especially when Chet was out a lot of the season, Hartenstein was out a lot of the season, they definitely faced some adversity and injuries, and he was still able to keep that team number 1 in the NBA. So I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win the MVP. So someone asked me, what do I think of Alperen Sengun? I think he's a real deal. I mean, he made it to his first All-Star game this year. He's got a lot of potential. You know, he's still young. I like the team he's on right now. They're young, they're growing, they're building, they're fighting. They're in the 2nd seed in the West. So I think There's no ceiling for him. I think he can be a dominant big man in this league. Will the refs rig it for the large markets? I kind of think so. I think the NBA wants a Lakers-Celtics matchup in the finals. I mean, who's not going to want that? There's one more thing I need to get off my chest before we go. You know what's crazy? The NBA didn't just evolve. They rewrote the whole damn rule book to prioritize threes, limit defense, and now they're teasing a 4-point shot like this is NBA Jam. The league enabled the three-point revolution. They took hand checking out. They made it illegal to breathe on a player coming off a screen. And they opened up the floor like a damn dance floor just to let shooters cook, all because it looks good on TikTok. I get it. Scoring is fun. We all love a Steph Curry heat check. But now even centers are afraid to post up. Defense, optimal. Mid-range, disrespected. And here we are, debating if we should reward people for chucking it from half court. Now the league wants to entertain the idea of a 4-point line. For what? So we can fully transform the NBA into a Harlem Globetrotters highlight reel? What's next? Power-ups? Half-court dunks for 10 points? Here's the problem. Once you start moving the goalposts just to entertain, you start disrespecting the game. You create chaos in late-game situations, you diminish strategy, you make hard-earned threes feel like layups, and you devalue greatness that was built under different rules. The NBA doesn't need a 4-point shot. It needs balance. Let shooters shoot, sure, but let defenders defend. Let there be a consequence to just launch from anywhere. Because the more we gamify this sport, the less it becomes basketball. And the more it starts to look like a YouTube thumbnail with a scoreboard. And trust me, I love content, but not at the cost of the craft. And that's all I got for you today. If you laughed, rolled your eyes, or said, she did not just say that. Good. That's the point. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, share, and send it in your group chat or to your ex. I don't care. And keep the questions coming. The more unhinged, the better. Until next time, keep it real, keep it messy, and keep that energy up. Because I'm coming right back with more.